Hey, it's Big Ben's Movie Show. I'm your host again, Big Ben. Thanks for tuning in. So this week, special guest, my host is going to be Jarreau. Jarreau, what's up?
What's going on, Big Ben? I don't know.
Jarreau just won a trophy of some kind in 1923, so we're doing this. So yeah.
Yes.
All right. So Jarreau is another host here at the station. He hosts the new show that's coming up here pretty soon, the
Roe and Izzo Show.
Roe and Izzo Show.
Indeed.
And when's that going to be premiering?
I believe we're premiering this Friday at 6:30.
Okay, and it's a sports
It's
talk.
sports talk, and then we just have a bunch of fun and make fun of each other. And
Nice.
yeah, it's a good time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, well, great. Well, we watched The Huntsman, The Winter's War, sadly. So let's go ahead and play the trailer, and we'll get to talking about it.
If it's the Snow White tale you're looking for, discover the story that came before.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?
You are my queen, but not for long. Your sister holds a baby who will grow to be more beautiful than you. But beware, should any harm come to the child, your sister will unleash a power unlike anything the world has ever known.
To escape the pain of her loss, the Good Queen built a fortress of ice around her heart. If she could not raise a child, she would raise an army.
You will train. You will become my huntsman.
Nice shot.
I thought I made you strong, but you're as pathetic as you ever were, little sister. This is my kingdom. Did you say something? With the mirror's magic, I'll rule the world.
That mirror's an evil and dangerous thing. We have to destroy it.
Together.
I'm headed straight for the castle. They wanna make me their queen.
What are you gonna do? Be the hero who defeats the mirror and saves the entire kingdom?
Aye, pretty much.
Castle, castle, castle.
Are you ready, Huntsman?
Aye.
I'm stronger than all of you.
Shall we find out?
I'm headed straight for the castle.
The story before Snow White.
Huntsman, Winter's War. So this movie was a little bit interesting in that it's basically a sequel to a movie, but it's more of like a spin-off, because instead of taking the main character of Snow White and moving ahead with that, we're not going to talk about Snow White because she ruined someone's marriage. So we're going to skip all that. We're just going to focus on the pretty boy who was in the movie with her, and we're going to move ahead with him.
Yeah.
And we're going to bring back the bad guy because we all liked her, and she didn't kill anybody's marriage. So we like her. And then we're making a movie about that. This ended up being kind of a Disney princess movie, even with the addition of adding the Frozen chick from Frozen.
Yeah.
So what did you think of it?
Okay, so to be fair, this movie's not made for me.
No.
Right? This movie,
No.
I am not, the 31-year-old male is not the target demographic. So with that in
Maybe
mind...
reverse those numbers and a female.
Exactly. So with that in
13-year-old
mind,
girl.
I tried to look at this movie as if, very objectively, right?
Yeah.
So there were some very good things, I thought. The CGI was fantastic.
Amazing.
The creatures in this movie were fantastic. I thought all the effects with the ice and all the special effects in general, I just thought were really, really well done.
Yeah.
And not that I'm super into high-end fashion, but the Ice Princess, her, or the Ice Queen, I believe, her gowns were phenomenal.
Yeah.
They were incredible. So that's the good. But then there's the rest of the hour and 45 other minutes of the movie where the dialogue didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
I don't understand the accent. I don't know if they were going for it with Jessica Chastain's character.
They both had very thick Irish accents, it sounds
Was that
like.
what it was?
Yeah.
Irish or Scottish? But no one else had that
No,
accent.
no one else had that accent.
So it didn't...
No one else even had any accents. Well, except for the dwarves. The dwarves had a bit of a British accent.
Right.
But all the other Huntsman characters, who were also children from the same village they were from,
Right.
had zero accents.
You know, there was just so many inconsistencies in the movies. In the movie, for example, Jessica Chastain's character saves the good-looking fella, Hemsworth. Yes.
Thor, yeah.
Yeah, she saves Thor by coming in with this sweet mask and doing all these ninja moves. And then the rest of the movie, she pretty much takes an ass whooping.
Beating up a bunch of guys when she does the ninja moves that were all beating the crap out of Thor.
Right.
And then later on, Thor saves her butt over and over and over again.
Right.
So,
There were
yeah.
more than a few inconsistencies, and I just, personally, I couldn't see beyond those.
Yeah.
And it just made the movie very frustrating to watch. I tricked two of my buddies. Thank you, Derek and Brian, for coming with me. I tricked them into going with me, and at one point, like I was mentioning off air, Derek turns to me and goes, "How much is left in this movie?" I told him 45 minutes, and he did a bellyache. No.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, the movie seems to want to be a Disney princess movie, and in terms of that, it probably does fine, because most Disney princess movies can't stand up to the scrutiny of normal people.
Right.
So not even film critics, but just normal people going, "Wait, why?" And it's like, don't worry, Disney. So yeah. So like I wouldn't go after The Little Mermaid in the same way I just went after this movie.
Right.
And that kind of seems like this is what this was going to be. I mean, there were so many. The scene that you just saw in the trailer where he makes the giant leap, that's stupid.
Yes.
Okay, he's trying to leap to the castle that you can see far off in the distance in that shot.
Right.
He's at least 60, 70 yards away from it. There's no way he's getting to it. He just falls.
Yeah.
And then, to me, the biggest insult of the whole movie is the happy ending where the children who have just had their parents killed by the other huntsman then run to the huntsman and hug them because the bad queen lady is gone. And it's like, kid, your parents are dead.
Right.
That chick you're hugging probably killed them. Why is this a happy ending?
It was almost oversimplified with the fact that the Ice Queen was simply trying to banish love, because logistically, how do you continue to build an army if your army can't have intercourse and create new army members? That really bothered me.
That is some thinking to it that I did not do. Oh my goodness, that is some logistics right there. You got to have the love because the love makes the babies and the babies make the army.
Yeah, that was from the get-go. That bothered me, and I really never could get over that part. And then there was just inconsistency after inconsistency, after pointless dialogue, after inconsistency.
Yeah.
And then they just splashed in some sweet special effects to be like, hey, don't worry about the dialogue because the CGI is incredible.
Cool inky tentacle monster is going to kill everybody. And you're like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
all right.
Which again, they never explained.
Nope, didn't explain. Yeah, no, the sister's powers are cold-based. Makes sense. She has power over ice.
Yeah.
The other sister seems to have power over ink and maybe gold? We're not sure, because the gold, she only turns into little birds and they fly away.
Yeah.
The ink straight up slaughters people.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. It all seems silly. So, but it's a cute little movie. If you are a 13-year-old girl or you are the parent of one, go ahead and take them to it. It'll be fun. They'll like it. Or if you're a 13-year-old girl at heart, talking to you, Dad, go ahead and go see it. But yeah, let's go ahead. We're going to move forward. So this week we only had one movie, so we get to have a nice little chalk in the middle of the show here. And seeing as Jarreau's show is about sports, I decided to make this segment for this week the top movies starring basketball players.
Awesome.
Which is fun, yeah. Movies starring basketball players are always great. Now, there's a lot of them that are really famous that I didn't pick. I didn't pick Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in Airplane. I didn't pick Wilt Chamberlain in one of the Conan movies.
He was in there.
I kind of went off the beaten path a little bit, except for one big one. So the first one on my list is My Giant.
Yes.
With Billy Crystal. Now, this is supposed to be a movie about Billy Crystal's relationship with Andre the Giant, where George Murson is standing in for the Giant. Oddly enough, this movie kind of mirrors the career of George Murson, and then it was like, oh, look at that, that's interesting, and then completely forgotten about it.
Right, it's just over.
Yeah.
It's just over.
He's the tallest guy ever to play in the NBA, which is interesting. And then he doesn't matter anymore. And even though I'm a giant Billy Crystal fan, it just doesn't live up to it. Other than the part where the whole bunch of wrestling midgets kind of attack him.
That was actually pretty funny.
That's fun. That's cute to see. All right, moving on. Next one on my list was Dennis Rodman in Double Team.
Yes.
This was that great stage in Dennis Rodman's career. It was post-basketball, but still in that thing where we all had to know who he was for a while.
He was still relevant.
Yeah, he was still relevant. So he started doing movies.
Right.
And he did a couple action movies. I believe he did a couple of them with Van Damme, because they did another one. It was this one and then another one where Van Damme was twins. And he was in that one, but he wasn't heavily featured. This one, he was like his buddy cop. And they actually went and did buddy cop things together. Pretty weird. Pretty weird at times.
The entire movie, as I remember, I loved the Chicago Bulls growing up. I've always been a Warriors fan, but I loved the Bulls. I loved Michael Jordan, but I loved Rodman because he was so just so out there. He had the crazy hair. He had the tattoos. Before that was like a thing on every NBA player. He was he just spoke his mind, which was a crazy mind, and he would just talk crazy talk. So I saw this movie multiple times as a kid.
Wow.
I knew it wasn't good when I was a kid, but I didn't care and I still watch terrible movies all the time because they're fun. But this movie was bizarre.
Yeah, no, and a lot of that comes from Van Damme, or not Van Damme, but Rodman, mostly because like the weird outfit thing that he was doing at the time where he would wear wedding dresses and things like that kind of bleeds over into this movie.
Yeah.
So we start seeing him in like half shirts, which hadn't been a thing for like 20 years at that point. Like you can go back to Burt Reynolds wearing half shirts and Bruce Jenner, back when he was Bruce Jenner, wearing half shirts. And that was a thing, and they all did it, and we're no judging. That's just what it was. It was short shorts and half shirts. There was a run on cloth, and we all did what we could. But in this one, when he wears the half shirt, it really looks odd.
Yeah, and it was like that lacy kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which was kind of a look for a while, I guess. But anyone nicknamed the Worm, who marries himself, this is kind of the movie you should expect.
In terms of an action star, as long as he wasn't speaking, he kind of was okay. He had the look for
He looked the part.
Yeah, he looked the part. Looked very much like Wesley Snipes in Demolition Man.
He does.
Yeah.
It's a really good call. You're on fire right
Wesley Snipes will come up later too. So yeah, it's that's a fun movie. So next one on the list, this is actually one of my favorite basketball movies of all time. This is Blue Chips. And I'm talking about Shaquille O'Neal. Although I believe the other two guys playing basketball players in this movie
Penny Hardaway was in there?
Penny Hardaway was one of them, was the other one.
Who was the other
And then the other one was just some white kid. He actually wasn't...
Christian Laettner, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't Christian Laettner. He looked like Chris Mullen, but it wasn't Chris Mullen. It was somebody else.
Okay, this is going to
But he was basically playing Larry Bird.
Right.
So, yeah. So this is a great... If you've never seen this is a great little movie with Nick Nolte where he's the coach of a college basketball program that is struggling, and his big thing is integrity. He doesn't want to cheat. He doesn't want to have to pay for players. And he's given the names of these 3 players that will take his program from okay to the best in the world, and all he has to do is recruit him. But the problem is, at least 2 out of the 3 want money. So then he ends up having to deal with the things of it, and can I cheat and win, or can I? And Shaquille O'Neal, this was his first movie, and probably the only time he was believable on camera.
Kazam?
Because he was playing himself. He was playing a young man from New Orleans, which is where he went to college, who played basketball and was really, really good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your role, Shaq. Kazam,
just Shaq,
Steel.
just do you.
Yeah. What was the other one? Grown Ups 2. All these other movies that he did. No, just do you. Just play you.
Steel.
Steel is bad. Steel is so bad. I rented Steel on a dare, and I was on vacation, and we got free movie rentals from the hotel we were at. So next one up, and this is when we get to the good movies.
Yes.
He Got Game.
Yes.
He Got Game with Ray Allen, Denzel Washington. This I actually saw in theaters with my dad. My dad was a semi-pro basketball player, actually played pro in Australia.
Oh, no kidding.
And so parts of this movie he could actually comment on because he was a Division I recruit. So when they would he'd show up on campus and they'd be like, "We're gonna show you a good time."
Right.
He was like, "Yep, that's how that is." And then so he's telling me like, "Yep, that's how that is. That's how it is." And then they get to the scene where they send him off in a room with the two girls, and I was like, "Dad, is that how that is?"
How uncomfortable.
And he just kind of and just kept watching the movie. Yeah. But yeah, it got a little weird. But Ray Allen is really good in this movie.
Shockingly good, if you ask me. So He Got Game was actually loosely based off Stephon Marbury's upbringing because he grew up in Coney Island, and they couldn't get Stephon Marbury to star in this movie, probably because he was getting tattoos on his head. And
I believe he was
Vaseline.
already a pro at that point, wasn't he? Or?
Yeah, but so was Ray Allen. Ray Allen took a summer off to make this film.
Okay.
Yeah, but I thought Ray Allen was great in this movie. I'll never forget the character of Big Time in that movie. I thought Big Time was a great character. And yeah, Denzel Washington is I always like Denzel. It doesn't matter if the movie's good or not.
Yeah.
I always like Denzel. And when he throat punches that kid,
mwah,
I love that part.
No. Plus, and then to me, the one-on-one game towards the end of the movie.
Between Ray Allen and Denzel.
Like, as I'm watching it next to my dad as a father and son play one-on-one and just are really brutal with each other. Like, and I'm like, that's me and that's my dad. And that's... And my dad did knock me on my butt a lot playing one-on-one. So, yeah, no, there's some really cool stuff going on with that movie. That's one of the best basketball movies really that's ever been made. And the last one on the list, the king of the pile, as he's the king of the basketball world, Michael Jordan in Space Jam. Space Jam is the one that kind of, for a lot of people, is when they think of basketball movie, that's their basketball movie.
Yeah.
Now, when I say people, I mean people under 35.
Right.
Right. So everybody over 35 is like, what? Why?
The Monstars? Come on, that movie was awesome.
Yeah, because it is kind of silly.
Yeah,
especially Charles Barkley in it, Patrick Ewing's in it.
Yeah.
A lot of great other players that are all in it. And Michael Jordan's dialogue deliveries are just spot on, terrible, phoned in cue card nonsense.
Yeah. Not a great actor. Great athlete, not a great actor. The movie was still so much fun.
It's fun. It's a fun movie. I haven't watched it with my kid yet, but I'm sure eventually I will. Because we've talked about her playing basketball already. She's tall. So yeah. All right. So that's my list of my top movies starring basketball players.
Solid list, Ben.
Thank you. Now we move forward to Suck Not Suck. XMen Apocalypse is coming out here in about a month. But right now we've gotten a first look from one of the new trailers at the Blob. So that's what Blob looks like in the comic books.
Yeah.
He was in X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is a terrible movie,
Sure is.
but had a couple really good spots in it. And one of them I thought was the appearance of the Blob. He looked very intimidating, very fat. He looked like that.
Yeah.
It was good stuff. This is what the X-Men Apocalypse Blob looks like. Can we blow that up? Because it really just looks like a regular heavyset guy with a very, very large stomach.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're going for there.
It
It just looks like a drunk old man.
Yeah, I just watched the third and the final trailer for this movie, and I've been wanting this movie to be good. I love the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
I love the X-Men. I want them to be great. First class was it First Class?
First Class. Yeah.
First Class was wonderful.
It sure was,
Days of
yeah.
Future Past was pretty good, and I'm really hoping that this one is also great. But so far, what I'm seeing is a whole lot of lights, a whole lot of effects, and not really much going on behind it. And I'm a little worried. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the movie's great, but stuff like that doesn't give me any hope for it.
Yeah, you know, and from what I understand, this movie's all about every mutant fighting a god. Is this where I say suck or not suck?
So yeah, so X-Men Apocalypse, suck or not suck?
I'm gonna have to go with suck. Just based on this picture, yeah.
I'm
I'm
gonna say suck too. Prove me wrong. I'd love you to do it.
That would be awesome.
But yeah, it's probably gonna suck. So, all right, next one on the list. Marvel had on their schedule. Marvel and DC both are putting out these giant schedules like 6 years in advance of all their movies. And one of the big ones on their list was Inhumans, which not a lot of people are really big up on. They're not like a mainstream character in the comic books. Now with the X-Men movies kind of getting pushed out by Marvel, they're actually pushing the X-Men and the mutants out of the Marvel universe because they don't own the movie rights to it. Which is like kind of a slap in the face to fans. But
Yeah.
So, and they keep trying to push the Inhumans on us, and so far the fans just aren't buying it. They've never been very interesting characters, and to try to make them interesting now, it's just not working. Marvel heard everybody's whines, and the movie is now off the schedule to be replaced possibly by a second Spider-Man movie or who knows what. But based on that, do you think the movie that they had planned was going to suck or not suck?
My guess would be suck.
Yeah,
because
that's a slam dunk.
Even some of the X-Men movies, like you mentioned, X-Men Origins, those were garbage. That movie in particular was not good, and so there's a high probability that now you're introducing characters that the mainstream is not familiar with.
Yeah.
You're really fighting an uphill battle to begin with, because you don't have necessarily the same built-in fan base that you would when you... Making a Spider-Man movie, there's no risk there.
No.
You know, people are going to
Same
go
thing
see
with Batman, Superman. Even if Batman, Superman sucks,
People
we're
are gonna
still
go
going to
see
make $1 billion,
Right.
which they are.
Right.
So yeah,
I
But
would say suck. Yeah.
I mean, and Marvel does have a track record though of taking characters that weren't big names. Originally, Iron Man, when he first came
That's
out,
true,
was not a huge name, and the big one a couple years ago was Guardians of the Galaxy. A
Yeah,
whole pile
that's
of
true.
characters that nobody really knew.
That's true.
That became a huge hit, but it doesn't seem like these characters are heading that direction, especially now that the movie might not even happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a universal suck. Next one up on the list, there's a movie about Jesus being planned called Mary Magdalene, and Joaquin Phoenix is in talks to play Jesus. I'm just gonna let that one marinate.
Yeah, let's let it sit for a second.
Because Joaquin Phoenix is an interesting guy. Like on some level, he's an amazing actor and a great talent, but he's also just a weird dude. So
Yeah, that's just I don't have off the top of my head a better replacement, but that just seems like an odd choice, Joaquin Phoenix.
yeah,
Yeah, I look at that face. What about that says Jesus?
No.
That guy looks like he's been on a bender, and I
he
don't
does.
think
He permanently looks like he's been on a bender.
every time
Yeah.
he looks like he hasn't slept in weeks. He was, in Vegas for the last 2 weeks, and he just got off a red eye, and that's how Joaquin Phoenix's face permanently looks. And when I think of Jesus, I don't typically think of some guy who was in Vegas raging for a week and a half. So it's just an odd choice.
Like as you see him there, he looks like a pretty happy dude. I mean, it's
Yeah, you know, and every movie for the most part that I've seen about Jesus is really depressing.
Oh, did you see Risen, the most recent one?
No.
With Joseph Fiennes. Actually had kind of a more, because it's about him rising. So
okay.
The disciples were all like almost laughably positive.
I'm going to go with suck.
I'm going to go to suck also. All right, next one up. This was kind of a big one. This came out this last week. We found out about this. Ghost in the Shell. They're making a movie of Ghost in the Shell. Scarlett Johansson has been tabbed to star in it. And a lot of people were really upset because Ghost in the Shell, of course, is based on anime.
Yeah.
And they had assumed that the main character would be Asian, as the original content is. And the studio wanted that too, but they also really wanted Scarlett Johansson. So what they found out how to do was take Scarlett Johansson and with CGI, make her Asian. Which is gonna piss off everybody.
Why? I don't get it. Why?
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so isn't this the definition of whitewashing?
This is real
blackface,
whitewashing.
except with an Asian face.
Yeah, this is digital blackface.
I mean, I think they'd be better suited to just make it her.
Just make it her.
And why do we need to make her look Asian?
Like, you're already going to take the hit for casting a white person in an Asian role. Just take that hit.
Yeah.
And if it's good, it's good. I mean, maybe it's Gods of Egypt, but maybe you do good. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're Doctor Strange. A lot of people are freaking out because certain parts of the Doctor Strange cast, which originally were thought to be Asian, are not.
Yeah.
But no one's really complaining about it because it looks really good. Whereas if you do it like Gods of Egypt, everybody hates it because that movie sucked. So, yeah. So it's if you can pull it off, but definitely don't do this. Don't. And they've since backed off of it, and they said, we were just testing it. We just wanted to see. But even just
so they
testing
leaked it so they could get some feedback. And
I don't think they leaked it. I think somebody who wanted them to get a little chin music leaked it, and then just like that's what you get for being stupid. So that's off the top of my head, knowing that and hearing that. And I actually am not familiar with Ghost in the Shell, so I'm going to go ahead and say it's going to suck.
Yeah. I used to watch that show and it was pretty awesome, but it's not off to a good start.
No. All right, last up for tonight, Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes is back. He's trying to make a big comeback with his career, and he signed a 2-picture deal with the WWE.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wait.
Wesley Snipes is going to make movies for Vince McMahon. In fact, the movie that he's currently making is starring him and Heche and Seth Rollins, who is the world champion who showed up on The Daily Show right before Jon Stewart left the show and threatened to beat up Jon Stewart. So Wesley Snipes is making wrestler movies now.
Is it about wrestling?
No, it's about like, so what they do with these movies, and they're never about wrestling, they're always about something else. So they started with one where they used their character Kane, who's like a dark, sinister guy, and he was killing people in a house. This one is going to be about special ops, like forces, and they're going to get stuck somewhere and have to fight their way out.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go suck.
Yeah.
I love Wesley Snipes, but what?
Yeah. And a 2-picture deal. So, what have you seen from WWE that was you were like, you know what? I'm not just going to sign one. Give me 2. Give me 2.
Yeah, right.
Because this is going to go so well, I don't even want to think about it. Let's just do 2 of them. Because you guys make great stuff.
Is this the state of Hollywood now? Is it that bad for black actors that Wesley Snipes has to sign with Vince McMahon?
I think it's that bad for Wesley Snipes. I don't know if it's that bad for black actors, but it's that bad for Wesley Snipes.
It's just because Kevin Hart's snatching every movie.
Kevin
Kevin
Hart and The Rock get all the other roles.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's basically the problem is that he had to show The Player on NBC, and it didn't even get a full season pickup. Went halfway through the season, and they ended up just canceling the show.
But he's good with the back taxes now, right?
No, he's out of jail. So that's all good. That's all fine.
That's good.
He did the movie about being in jail.
Yeah, that's right.
Which, when I was like, really? It's like, yeah, that whole thing, that was just a character study. I didn't really go to jail. I was just trying to train for a part. But yeah, so Wesley Snipes making WWE movies now. So that's our show for this week. If you have questions about the show, issues with the show, or if you'd like to be a guest host like Jarreau, send me an email. It's bigbms@zoho.com. If you like me and you want to hear more of what I have to say, which really, you can check me out. I've got a podcast. It's called Geek Wars Podcast. You can check it out on iTunes, Podcast Addict, or wherever your podcast is found. Jarreau, anything you want to plug? Your show.
The Rowan Izzo Show.
Rowan Izzo Show.
This Friday at 6:30, I think. Yeah, no, we're definitely going Friday 6:30.
Friday 6:30.
The next couple weeks, you can always check out Flipside Radio, 90.1 KZFR. Sunday nights at 11:30, and we're filling in for Jake's show, Say Hey, which is more sports talk, every Monday from 5:30 to 6:30. So, here's that.
Awesome stuff. All right, next week, my guest host will be Joe Batt, and we are going to be talking about Mother's Day and Keanu, the new movie from the Key and Peele guys. That looks really, really cool. It's a nice dichotomy for a weekend. We have like a very basic Hollywood like manufacturing movie that just like we just keep crapping these things out.
Right.
And then you have this thing that is so interesting and new and fresh. So
that should be good.
That's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of fun
absolutely.
with that. Stick around for That's That and all of the other great shows here on BCAC TV. Thanks so much. Good night. All right, here you go. Man, I need to grow a beard. Grow a beard or lose some weight.
The beard's probably easier.
That's a good-looking guy. He's like, does he keep that neat scarf?